packed up a 5x8 trailer, hitched it to our small SUV, and took off across Canada. We took 30 days to get here. Neither of us had driven across country before, so I think we both really wanted to take our time and see what our beautiful country has to offer. We're both from Ontario originally. Neither of us had driven through Northern Ontario. Until we did, we really didn't realize just how big of a province it is. All of our friends that had driven across Ontario before told us it's long and it's boring. You see the same tree a million times over for almost 24 hours of driving. While it was long and it was almost 24 hours of driving, I kind of disagree that it was boring. Once you're past Sault Ste. Marie and you're on the border of Lake Superior, there's considerably more elevation than I was expecting for lookouts and hiking. The lake itself is stunningly beautiful. Viewpoints every 50 to 100 kilometers where you can stop and just catch an amazing view. Go out for a walk or a hike. We also happened to pass through possibly the best week of the year for fall colors. It was hoped that we would go through at that time, but really entirely coincidental that we did. Early on in the trip, we came up with a little competition who could most accurately guess how much wildlife we would see along the way. We came up with this list. The bet was whoever gets closest has to buy dinner. There are provincial parks every 100 kilometers or so, it seems, along the shores of Superior. You get to Papisa, which just has an endless amount of navigable water for canoeing and kayaking. Then you get to Thunder Bay, and Thunder Bay has cliffs everywhere, climbable rock, elevation for world-class mountain biking, and a small population using it. If Thunder Bay weren't as isolated as it is, I think that would be a major destination for the outdoors. In Canada, Manitoba has a reputation for being one of the least interesting provinces. We would have liked to prove people otherwise, but with COVID laws, we weren't actually supposed to stop in Manitoba, so we punched it through 5 hours into Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is another one of those provinces being in the prairies that has a reputation for being a bit dull, but there's a lot more to see and do there than you might expect. Especially towards the south, we headed towards Grasslands National Park. We got off of the main roads where we were seeing hawks and eagles, coyotes, prairie dogs. Grasslands National Park is beautiful in such a different way from all the other parks. It's so simple and so pure, it's so beautiful. You can see everything, everywhere. And one of our goals when we got there was to see some bison. We went the first day and did a shorter hike and didn't really see much. But the second day we did a 15-kilometer hike, and that's where we saw them. About 20 minutes into the hike, we saw 3 bison, and I thought I was so lucky to get to see these bison. Another 20 minutes went by, and we saw a herd of 30 to 40 bison. The hike was probably about 4 hours. We kept count the entire time. It was 136 bison we saw in this 15-minute hike. They really couldn't hide. Big creatures, not a single tree or anything to hide behind. It was beautiful. It was one of my favorite days of the entire trip. After Saskatchewan, we headed through to Drumheller, Alberta, somewhere that came highly recommended to us because of all of its dinosaur fossils and the very prehistoric nature to it. We did a couple of short, easy hikes, checked out the hoodoos and some of the canyons. We also checked out the Dinosaur Museum, which if you're gonna head that way, is definitely worth stopping by. From Drumheller, we headed towards Canmore through Calgary. The forecast was calling for snow, so our last day in Saskatchewan, actually, we had swapped out the summer tires for the winters, which was a good call. Driving through Calgary, we hit a whiteout blizzard. Drove up Highway 1 through Canmore, towing a trailer with a small SUV in a snowstorm. Went to bed. The next morning, we woke up here. It was full-on winter in the Rockies, so no climbing, too early for ice climbing. So we did hiking 4 to 8 hour days every day in the Rockies, seeing it all. Lake Louise, Lake Moraine, several of the hikes around Canmore. It was beautiful. Winter in the Rockies is truly something. Seeing that snow up in the mountains, it makes you feel small. We'd hoped to get to Jasper while we were in the Rockies, but it snowed every single day. Pulling the trailer through that snowstorm on the way out just wasn't in the cards. We had to go around the Rockies to head north towards northern BC. Northern BC, getting up there, you really start to feel isolated. When you're past Grand Prairie, there's really not much around. You have to watch your fuel levels all the time. It's sometimes more than 200 kilometers to a gas station. There's just nothing there. The wildlife was amazing along the highways. We had to stop for bison, caribou, sheep. The one thing we didn't get to see that was on our list, we had both bet on it, was to see bears. By the time we got to real bear country there, it had turned into winter, which is in mid-October. So that was the one disappointment, I think, of the trip. The scenery in northern BC is beautiful. You're following rivers the whole way, mountain views popping in and out as you're driving through the northern Rockies, and finally into the Yukon. From our hotel in northern BC, we had to make it to Whitehorse in a day to isolate for 2 weeks. So we got to see a whole lot of Yukon through the car window that day. We've since moved to Carcross, surrounded by mountains and lakes in every direction. The scenery here is stunning, and I can't wait to explore.